For family, candy, and costumes has arrived. It could be scary for a few, especially when the Swain train or Keenan come knocking on your door. Reynolds breaks the play, touchdown. There is nothing sweet about Marlon Mack running like a bull, only the sour taste he may leave in his wake.
Look out, Marlon Mack, the edge, Marlon Mack, the end zone, touchdown USF.
So while for most, Halloween doesn't officially begin until the sun goes down, this game is already at your doorstep. Trick or treat. Here come the Navy midshipmen. Happy Halloween from Annapolis, Maryland. Navy Marine Corps Memorial Stadium and American football clash as the Mids of Navy play host to the Streaking Bulls of South Florida. Here's a look at the latest in the American Revolution. USF only a step short of Temple, a biggie with Notre Dame tonight. Out west, Navy looking up at two ranked squads they still have left on the docket. And a pleasant good afternoon, everybody. I'm John Sadak. He's the College Football Hall of Famer, Randy Cross. Storylines abound today. A win and Navy's bowl eligible for a 12th time in 13 years. Of course, still in hot pursuit of a conference crown, but Keenan Reynolds' chase of college football history, the all-time rushing touchdown record, the paramount story.
Yeah, Navy midshipmen, Navy in general, they're used to history in these programs. But you look at Roger Staubach and Joe Bellino, they won the Heisman Trophy. That identified this program as a football program. Keenan Reynolds has the opportunity with this record to put Navy on the national scene with this record. It says something about being a Navy football player when you've got a guy that has a record above a Monte Ball. And you start scoring in those type of stratospheres, it's really something special. And this young man makes such great decisions, not only running, but also passing the ball now. He's expanded that part of his game.
He did rush for 2 last week. The Americans' Rookie of the Year from a season ago, Marlon Mack, did not play last week, a hamstring issue.
That's right, and all they did is they had a quarterback run for 201 yards in the meantime when he was down with the hamstring. So that's fine, but you look at 2 running games, a little bit different, conventional. Let's do it with our halfback. Feed the back. As far as Navy, they've got the fullback option, they've got the pitch option, but Keenan Reynolds is their money guy. That's their favorite option. That's option number 2.
For more on Keenan, let's join the third member of our crew. She and Stanwick Birch down to the field.
The Keenan Reynolds era at the Naval Academy has been unprecedented. We had a chance to sit down with pretty much everyone that's been involved in his journey, from Coach Ken Niumatalolo to Ivan Jasper to Keenan's parents. Coach Ivan Jasper told us that it's important for Keenan to get this record for all that he has done for Navy football. His mom, Jackie Reynolds, said that she's not surprised about Keenan's success. She said that when Keenan puts his mind to something, he gets it done. His dad, Donnie Reynolds, said that all of Keenan's accomplishments give hope to all the kids out there that dream of playing college football. And John and Randy, when you think about all the players that have played college football throughout the years, it really gives you an appreciation for how amazing this achievement is.
Well, thank you, Sheehan, and that's exactly right. It's an all-time lure standpoint. There's a Heisman winner every year, but there's only one at any one given moment, all-time touchdown king.
And that's one of the great things about this record is it's not an individual accomplishment in Keenan Reynolds' mind. To Keenan Reynolds, this is for the Navy midshipmen. This is for the Navy football program.
Navy won the toss and deferred, so South Florida has the ball to begin the game. South Florida great in the return game, leading the American 23rd in the country, averaging almost 24.5 per kick return. Austin Grebe has been solid, 11 touchbacks and 40 kickoffs this year. Junior out of Stafford, Virginia, sends the kick just inside of the 5. Rodney Adams, game changer. Rodney Adams. He's going to go the whole field. 96 yards for Rodney Adams. And the first kick return for a touchdown of South Florida's season.
John, that was set up perfectly. Adams goes straight ahead and then bursts to his left. And when he burst to the left, that wall was formed already for him heading down those right numbers. Watch him go straight. Now he breaks hard left. Bang, 2 clearing blocks. And there it goes. That is wide open. There's no one there to contest him. That's set up perfectly. That is some execution and game planning right off the get-go for USF.
Emilio Nadelman for the point after, out of the hold of Matthias Chabati, the punter. And the kick is true. Officially 97 yards. Streaked back by Rodney Adams. He is their dynamic wide receiver. They use him on specials as well. And Ken Niumatalolo not happy. Kickoffs have been an issue for South Florida. Michael Hill has only been doing it for a couple of weeks. Tyshawn Romine's got great quicks from his 12. Spins off a hitter, tumbles shy of the 30. Let's take a look at our Chick-fil-A starting lineups. The Cow decided to go as a football player on Halloween. Keenan Reynolds, the quarterback, the winningest QB in Navy history, now attempting to have more rushing touchdowns than any player in college football history. Monte Ball with 77 rushing TDs stands in front.
Well, keep in mind, John, last week Tulane frustrated this Navy rushing attack. They passed for more yards than they ran for.
From the 29. Hard cadence by Reynolds, who will load to throw. Tip ball. And still caught. Jameer Tillman tumbled down at around the 36 by Nigel Harris. Here's the rest of the Navy offense. Up front, some national notoriety for E.K. Binns, the left guard, named one of 12 finalists for the William V. Campbell Award, the academic Heisman. And she and Stanwood Burge will have more on that later in the show. Chris Swain. Didn't see a ton of Swain last week. Seeing quite a bit to begin today. Already piercing into South Florida territory, rumbling to the 41 before he was felled by Nate Godwin.
Look inside and how USF is lining up. They're lining inside eye on the guards. That gets man-on-man blocking, and then that hole opens up right in the middle, just off the left tackle. Beautiful execution. Single blocking.
Reynolds, the pitch. Damon Brown. Undercut by Devin Abraham. He has the 35. Here's the defense for South Florida, now employing a 4-2-5 bull shark look. And that meant a position change of sorts for Jamie Bird, the Angry Bird, who plays that hybrid Husky position, leads the team in sacks and tackles for loss.
That's really helped him up because he loves to play aggressive. He loves to play downhill, and that's his assignment.
2nd and 3. Chris Swain's assignment, protect the football, denied by Bird. That is good for the first down.
John, last week, Tulane came out in what kind of looked like the old Bear defense, 46, where they covered all the linemen, and it caused one-on-one blocking, and there were some breakdowns for Navy. They couldn't run the ball. They took away the fullback. They took away the pitch with the speed, and it frustrated Navy's blocking scheme and their entire offense. So far, you've seen a little different look. A 3-man line here. Yeah, they haven't shown much of that at USF.
They show some edge rushers. They use them as bull defensive end hybrid linebacker ends. Off the fake, the pitch. And a trip. Calvin Cass has the first down of the 14. Nate Godwin, the strong safety rover, again with a tackle.
Yeah, the key in this thing is numbers. And right now, Navy has the numbers, and that's to the field. You've got 5 blockers. You've got 4 blockers. They only have 3 or 4. You've got an extra man.
So the numbers have Navy in the red zone at the 14. Chris Swain is back in after a brief spell from Quinton Ezell. Reynolds zigging and zagging. Doesn't have a lot. Bird with another tackle. Today's red zone numbers brought to you by Verizon.
Nothing like a broken play there, huh? You don't see that very often, where an option quarterback turns around and there's nobody to option the ball to. He made something out of nothing.
Been a playmaker his whole career since he sprung to life in the Air Force game as a freshman. You saw those red zone numbers. They get points 96% of the time. Only once in their 28 trips have they not had points. Touchdowns, of course, a different type of animal. Reynolds inside of the 10. Devin Abraham, Mike Love, double team on the tackle.
Well, touchdowns are Keenan Reynolds' specialty, especially people talk about with passing offenses how hard it gets to pass in the red zone because the field shrinks. Nothing shrinks in the red zone for a good running attack.
3rd and 5.
Normally a 4-man defense. USF, they're lining up with those defensive tackles real tight to the center there in the middle.
Reynolds gives the pitch, and what a hit. Dietrich Nichols. Tied for the team lead in tackles for loss. The sophomore played as a true freshman last year. What a pop.
Yeah, they always talk about assignment football. But starting with Tulane last week and now here, USF's attacking the option. And attacking the option there sure worked.
Austin Grebe from 30. He's only missed on 1 kick. 44 against Notre Dame. This is a chip shot, and it's good. But South Florida continues to deny. Only 8 touchdowns allowed in 19 red zone journeys for the opponent. While the Bulls rode the wave of the opening kick returned by Rodney Adams for 97, while Grebe from 30 makes it 7-3. Outstanding job of the Pumpkins. They were carved by Nancy Baker of South River High School.
Last time Navy saw an opening kickoff against them, scored for a touchdown, the Aloha Bowl back in '96.
Have to go back a decent ways. It was 97 yards traversed on the opening kick returned by Rodney Adams. Dearness Johnson takes a bent knee. And a touchback. Nice chorus of cheers after the touchback denies any thought of a return. Let's examine our Chick-fil-A starting lineups. Quarterback for the South Florida Bulls is Quinton Flowers, who's overcome a significant amount of tragedy in his life. 201 rushing yards last week with Marlon Mack derailed due to injury.
And this offense really hasn't gotten on track. When it synchronizes and they get on track with him running, Mack running, and passing, they're going to be dangerous against somebody when that happens.
Sean Price, the motion man. Mack, not much. Navy defense there led by Laurentez Barber. As we take a look at the rest of the Bulls offense, and Marlon Mack, nicknamed the Quiet Man. Doesn't say a whole lot, but he announced himself last year. 275 yards in his debut, the Americans Rookie of the Year.
Yeah, sort of a surprise starter in that game, and when he did get that start, just exploded.
Off the play fake on the read, tip ball incomplete. Off the hands of Pope, who picked up the penalty a few plays earlier. As we take a look at the Navy defense, led by interim DC Dale Pearson. Amos Mason has been a big-time playmaker up front.
And they'll face an interesting dichotomy with the running game we've talked about, and then you've already seen the speed and the run after the catch that South Florida has.
Dale Pearson, who calls the plays. Off the fake, 3rd down pressure. Flowers, fluster. Flowers on the corner. What a throw! Quinton Flowers to the sideline, right at the marker, and they convert the 1st down on 3rd and 24. Quincy Adams was there in coverage. Ryshean Bronson, the sophomore wideout.
Now, there's a picture of what this offense has got potential-wise. Should have been flustered. Should have been sacked. Flowers keeps his poise. Receiver find their quarterback, come back to him, and a big 1st down.
Johnson slithers through. Micah Thomas has to drag him down nearly at the 1st at about the 42.5-yard line.
So, John, what do you think? What kind of a DB does Flowers look like so far?
Oh, boy.
As a DB, he's a pretty good quarterback, isn't he?
Darn good. He was offered by Alabama, Nebraska, Florida, Miami, and Texas as a DB.
Well, and Taggart and company changed the offensive philosophy here. They were much more of a kind of a power football. It fits their talent to be in this kind of an offense. Give them credit for changing.
Ball loose, scooped right back up by the Bulls. That's something they've done incredibly well this year. 11 fumbles, only 2 lost, the 6th lowest total in the country of fumbles lost.
That's pretty lucky, though. When you put a ball on the ground, it just seems to like kind of bounce right back to you.
Well, 3rd and 6. Third downs have been tricky for USF. 118th in the country at 32%, but they've converted from 24 and 9 today.
Got to close the pocket on Flowers. Got to rush with a purpose. Know where you're supposed to be.
Wide open Sean Price. How does he get that wide open? Laurentez Barber, Brandon Jones combined to the stop. Another first down.
Well, the most important thing really to look at is how you look down the field. You look here, you pump, and then look what he does to his left. Pump, then suddenly he sees to his left. There's nobody over here. Nice poise.
First and goal.
Great adjustment.
Ernest Johnson is in as the tailback. Powers his way inside of the 5. Daquan Thomason had the tackle. Dearness Johnson has earned a nickname from his head coach. He calls him Clutch because of how well he finishes drives and performs late in games.
So you get in the red zone, short yardage and goal line, you've got to have the closer. That's what he is in this offense. He's the closer.
This is Darius Tice, his first touch. He has nothing. Navy defense stands up. There were a few pivotal moments in the Tulane win last week, and one of the bigger ones, a goal line stand at this end of the field.
I keep a close eye at the top of the screen here for some kind of a quarterback screen. Look at this, you got 2 guys out here, only 1 defender.
Ernest Johnson into the backfield. Off the fake, Flowers keeping. No! Denied by DJ Palmore. The sophomore at Bartlett, Tennessee, with a huge tackle of the QB.
They attack inside. You see fullbacks and H-backs and tight ends. You know it's going to be a run. Navy attacks the gaps and maintain their gaps, and Palmore does a beautiful job of penetrating.
25-yard field goal try from Emilio Nadelman. He's 5 of 8 this year with a long of 40. And the kick with some tough angle is good. Navy's defense rises late in the drive. DJ Palmore, the sophomore, fighting for playing time, forces a field goal settlement. South Florida leads 10-3. A shot in the stands of Jackie and Donnie Reynolds. Jackie on the left, Donnie on the right. Proud mom and dad of Keenan Reynolds, who continues to chase history. 75 career rushing TDs, the most by a quarterback. He needs 2 to tie, 3 to pass Monte Ball for the all-time record. John Sadak, Randy Cross, Sheehan Standwick Birch, and our outstanding crew. Michael Hill handles kickoffs. Nyshawn Romine, the deeper return man. Good job of coverage on specials. Keenan Reynolds will have the ball on this Halloween when we come back. When worlds collide, Mr. Stay Puft and Harley Quinn side by side. If Batman had to fight ghosts, I don't know who would be more afraid.
Even today, he's got to be a little warm in there.
I would think that's a little bit of a crisper situation. Today's 1st and 10 line brought to you by Golden Corral. Navy starts a drive, and it's 24. Quentin Ezell, the fullback, rear of Reynolds. Reynolds booting. Sheds off the first hit. And a forced throw knocked down brilliantly in space by Nate Godwin.
You know, that last play, I would look at getting a block here and then having this receiver take it and just go in. I'd really be careful with how the alignment. Look at the lack of defenders. You finally sneak a safety out in the general area, but you basically have 2 receivers on 2 players on 1 defender. That's a mismatch. I'm sure they noticed upstairs in the box.
Keenan Reynolds flicks it as he's hit. The pitch game has been used quite a bit early. Nate Godwin takes care of Damon Brown. He's about a yard shy of the first.
We've seen the Swain train get on the tracks here early for a big run too. So right now the option is available. Right now, if you can be able to pop the fullback, you get a defense that can be guessing. Keep an eye on the inside of the offense. If the inside works, this offense is unleashed.
Swain has the first easily, spinning off a couple of hitters, including Augie Sanchez, the quarterback of the South Florida defense.
Yeah, with those defensive tackles both at the inside eye of the guards, that means the A gap is occupied. So they just run what Navy's adjustment is. They block it to be a tackle run. Instead of running at the guard, they go out another hole, they run it off the tackle, and Swain is easily not even touched until he's 5 yards down the field.
Looks like his left arm is getting some examination on the sidelines. Reynolds has to flick a little later than he would like, and Dyshawn Romine, it was great speed. Burst for the first, crossing midfield to the South Florida 49. Tajay Fullwood, the tackle.
Yeah, that's an option, the part of the option that terrifies most normal coaches, but with a quarterback like Keenan Reynolds running it, makes it a completely different proposition. Doesn't make it safe, but he's very good at those pitches. He does it accurately, he does it safely.
And got a firm grasp in there near the face mask area, horse collar territory. Big room. Quentin Ezell shouldering down Dedrick Nichols. The first down runs gashing the defense.
Look at the man blocking up front. Tackles are in close. Let him go. Turn him loose. E.K. Benz, nice block. Ryder, nice block from the center spot. That opens the inside. If the inside run is available in the triple option, the defense has to start guessing. Great adjustment by the Navy coaches.
16-yard spurt. Ezell has earned another touch. They fake it to him. Zigging and zagging Damon Brown. Brings back a few to the 30. Jay Fullwood again, the free safety.
And an adjustment back from South Florida. South Florida adjusted with their formation and got more speed to the outside there.
It was a fast start with a kick return for a touchdown. A trade of field goals since, but Navy is on the drive as we're through one in Annapolis. A long kick returned the difference here in Annapolis. Navy has done it on the ground. USF in the air, getting bailed out in some third and long situations with some lengthy passes. A few moments ago, Chris Swain was getting some medical attention on the sidelines. For more, let's check in with Sheehan.
Yeah, that's right. The fullback came to the sidelines. He was assessed by head trainer Jim Barry. Everything looks good. He just had a little bit of stinger. He just was moving his arm around in circles, trying to get it loose, and he's back on the field.
Well, thank you, Sheehan. And there he is on 2nd down and 7. Why not ride that Swain train?
Yeah, what a nice job they've done, Navy, during the week of adjusting that first option. How often, John, do you see the fullback run? It happens between the center and the guard. It's an inside run. Right now, Keenan Reynolds and Kendi Matalolo, they're optioning. Their first option is almost aimed at the tackle, and they're doing a great job of doing that in the middle.
Only need a yard here. Keenan Reynolds has rushed for 5. The fullback has carried the bulk of the load. Pitch game's been part of it today. Swain has the first down and visions for more. Swain, end zone, touchdown! Dyshawn Romine helps spring him free. And maybe a chance to tie it up after a 24-yard gallop.
Yeah, pretty simple. Normally it goes over the guard. That is the fullback. That aiming point isn't a big adjustment, but in reality today it's a monstrous adjustment. It's meant a huge chunk of yards for Navy and Swain.
Austin Grebe to tie it up. He's only missed 1 extra point on his career. He connects on his first today. Blair the horn. The train is on the tracks. Chris Swain, his 5th rushing touchdown of the year. 24 yards in a tied game. Navy, 3 minutes and 13 seconds to get a game-tying score, riding the back of Chris Swain, who had 3 rushes on the drive.
And don't discount the amount of adjustment by this Navy football team during the week and adjusting today to what they're seeing from this South Florida football team and the job that's being done up front blocking.
Bouncing ball scooped up. Ernest Johnson, ankle tackle, dragged down at around the 25-yard line. Ryan Harris the tackle.
Watch the double team here, and then simply Swain takes the ball and then just heads outside. Little wiggle, little bump, and then bang, he's heading for the pylon in 6.
There's a look at the big bodies of the backfield, the 3-headed monster that makes up the fullback rotation for Navy. We haven't seen a ton of Sean White of the year, although we saw him a decent amount last week against Tulane. Let's go down to Sheehan Stanwyck Birch.
Last offensive sequence, we saw DeBrandon Sanders take a shot. He's left the field, and just for precautionary measures, they're just checking him out, making sure that he's okay. He's walking the sidelines now. No plans for him to leave to the locker room.
Well, we appreciate that, Sheehan, but Sanders appears to be on a course for that tunnel.
Yeah. And you know what? Bravo. Good for them. Err on the side of safety when it comes to anything having to do with the head.
Anticipation was there for Quincy Adams. He was interrupted by the receiver. Sanders, a big part of this Navy offense, 2nd on the team in yards from scrimmage a couple of years ago. Led the team in catches before the arrival of Jameer Tillman. But now it's 3rd and 4.
Now let's see if this Navy defense can put a clamp on Flowers, or if again he'll either escape outside or step up and find a receiver.
Flowers flushed. He can run. Veers out of bounds, dancing at around the 35. See where they spot it. Looks like the 34.
I think the sticks kind of half retreated. And he ended up going out of bounds.
And Flowers seems to be protesting. He feels like he had it.
He thought he went out closer to the 35. They've got him marked going out of bounds at the 34. I can see where your depth perception with that marker on the far side. See, you know, he steps out right there on the 34. That's a good mark. You can see the black rubber. Watch right on the next step right there. See that rubber come up right there on the 34. He's going out right there.
South Florida set to punt. Matthias Chabati. There's only one return man for Navy here. Sanders, remember, normally splits with Cass to try to keep better hands out there. So it's Cass solo. Not a great kick. It sails out of bounds with some good Navy English. Navy, yes, it's in a conference now. Chris Swain well into South Florida territory, but Army means a whole lot more than anything, right?
Yeah, they will traditionally, but remember, if you look at their schedule, something that jumped out to me, I'm not used to seeing a game now for Ken Niumatalolo and Navy sitting there on December 5th. I mean, it's not a scheduled game, it's a conference championship game.
There's the necessary yard. It was only a 17-yard punt that set up this short drive. Augie Sanchez, the tackle. How disruptive could that be in pursuit of a championship?
That's a break of a routine. That's something unusual. Usually you've got 2 weeks off to prepare, or at least 2 weeks off to prepare for that game. But it's a good distraction, I'll tell you that.
Reynolds. I think they have an eye on him. Is that every white jersey on the field led by James Hamilton following Reynolds?
Pretty familiar as far as you heard the term front 7 out there. Willie Taggart's front 7. They know that if possible, put a helmet on number 19. If he has the ball, hit him hard. If he doesn't have the ball, hit him hard.
They had trouble when Taggart was at Western Kentucky stopping this Navy offense. But first-year DC Tom Allen was part of an Ole Miss team that Had a lot of ease against Georgia Tech in the Music City Bowl a few years ago. Pitch play, springs inside of the 15 for Dyshawn Romine. Nate Godwin somersaults him down.
There's a guess by South Florida. They reduced that right side of their defense, and they brought the blitz. They blitzed the run. You blitz this run, it's going to cost you a first down, and it cost them a first down there.
To the 14. Navy's been down since the opening kickoff. Has not known a lead. Incomplete. Look for Devon Brown. Ronnie Higgins, or Hoggins rather, was there in coverage. Mom and Dad? Oh, Donnie's not happy.
Just gives Pops a few points to coach him up with later on at dinner.
He coached him quite a bit when he was a kid.
Keenan 3 of 8 so far. Throwing the ball.
Wants a cycle of something from the sidelines. Play clock under Parsley. Reynolds keeping behind Swain. Shoulders Bruce Hector at 6'2", 295 to the 9.
Well, you know, it's entertaining to see a guy Keenan Reynolds' size do that, but leverage never takes a day off, kind of like gravity. If you got the leverage, you can shoulder a guy a lot bigger than you.
Pistol depth on 3rd and 5. Reynolds to the air, off the hands, incomplete. He was looking for Calvin Cass Jr. passing from the pistol on 3rd down.
Yeah, you know, I don't mind this at all. You're accurate. I mean, it's there. There's nothing wrong with that. I think they just have to get better at executing it. If they want a chance to compete in this conference, those are plays you're going to have to make.
They have not converted on their last 4 third down tries. Now it's Greavy who's connected from 30. This will be a 26+ yard field goal try. Out of the hold of Will Worth, 3rd string quarterback. Greavy has been money since taking over place kicking duties midway through last season. And Navy has its first lead, 13-10. We have reached halftime, a 13-10 Navy advantage. Quentin Flowers converted on many long 3rd down looks, but he was pressed into many such situations. Reynolds denied a touchdown, but he will always take the advantage. He is a team first kind of a guy. Let's go down to the field for Sheehan Stanwyck Birch.
Thanks, John. Coach, you guys are up by 3. You knew this team would be tough. What adjustments do you need to make?
We just got to settle down and relax. We've had way too many missed assignments. This is a really physical and talented team. We can't spot them anything. We got to get them off the field on 3rd down, which we're doing better as the 2nd quarter went on. Offensively, we just got to settle down. Way too many missed mistakes.
Thanks for your time.
Thank you.
Well, thank you, Sheehan. We did see a few moments of indecision out there, but Navy still has the lead in its first ever clash with the USF Bulls. Navy up 3 as we're set for the start of the 2nd. A few moments ago, Sheehan Stanwyck Birch caught up with the 3rd-year head coach of USF, Willie Taggart.
Thanks, John. Coach, you guys started off fast with that kickoff return. What do you guys need to do in the 2nd half?
Offensively, we just got to finish some drives. We're not doing a good job finishing our blocks, and we got to be able to run the football. That's something we're not doing well on that side. Just go back just to execute. Our defense is doing a good job of keeping them out of the end zone. And for us offensively, we got to help them out by scoring some touchdowns.
Thanks for your time.
Thank you.
Let's take a look at our Lowe's game improvements.
Something we talked about coming in, and USF has done a kind of marginal job stopping the run in general. They've stopped the pass pretty good, but it's been the run, especially the fullbacks with 98 yards that have hurt them the most in the first half. And Navy midshipmen, the pass by Flowers very good, but remember, 2 rushes, 0 yards. Flowers last week had 201 yards rushing, so that's a huge win. But both defenses have done a pretty good job, and you look at both offenses execution-wise, the misfires. You've had assignment misses, you've had physical misses, but it's been a little sloppy offensively.
Lowe's never stop improving. Navy deferred after winning the toss, so it has the ball to begin the 2nd. handles kickoff duties. Retreat into the end zone to the bent knee for Navy and Dyshon Romine. Here are some of the other halftime numbers. Yards per play, fairly even. Time of possession favored Navy. But those rushing yards, what a disparity.
Yeah, it's crazy what they've been able to do, but you don't stop the fullback, you will give up a lot of yards to this offense, and they have not stopped specifically Swain inside. He's gotten a lot of yards coming between the guard and the tackle.
Right to the fullback. Not a lot there. James Hamilton takes care of Swain.
And they go right back to the well, and that well's closed on that play. You see what they've done not only last week versus Tulane, but this week. It's been a lot of Swain. Tulane did a fabulous job of really manning up inside and the speed taking away stuff on the outside.
Reynolds has some room. Augie Sanchez gets a bit of a ride from Reynolds. He'll be about 2.5 shy.
That's the first time we've seen Keenan Reynolds and running a play he's always very comfortable with, where the fullback runs through, not even with a fake, and then Reynolds just peels right off that left tackle's block for plus yards.
As Navy's want to do, get to the line of scrimmage in a hurry, but sometimes an extended look to the sideline. South Florida crowds the box. Trips up the fullback. It's going to be only a yard. Looks shy. Jamie Bird there on the stop.
Yeah, I was going to say, boy, you punt here. You're only on, this would be the -33. Backed up like this. If you get to the midfield or so, maybe on 4th down you go for it. But in this spot, punting is a smart way to go. Good plus by Willie Taggart's defense, getting Navy's offense off and getting his offense some pretty good field position more than likely.
Alex Barda to punt. Taji Fullwood, great punt returner. This goes to the up man of the 40. Caught in stride, and it means prime real estate. Dearness Johnson, the up secondary returner.
Well, that's just being alert. You've got an up guy on a punt return for this very reason. A short pooch punt going for field position. He mishits it. Johnson is right there to take advantage and catch it. And you see the coverage is made to be down 30 or 40 yards down the field, not 15 to 20.
South Florida has employed trick plays at times, and when they do, it's usually in the infancy of the second half.
And here's where Willie Taggart told Sheenan, you're going to have to see them running the ball. This is run the ball territory. Try to establish it.
Off a play fake. Flowers, a long arcing rainbow. Chris Barr, just shy. Out at about the 3-yard line.
Well, I was thinking run the ball territory, and obviously so was Navy's defense, because they chomped on that play action like a great white shark. They put all the teeth into it, and that's why the receivers open wide open down the field.
They got 34, now they're sprinting the pace. Marlon Mack standing up. Marlon Mack bowls his way into the end zone for a touchdown.
Both halves now for South Florida. They started the first half with a long touchdown return on a kickoff. You start this half with 2 lightning quick strikes, a pass and a run, and same result for both, 7 points. Great start for the second half, just like the first for Willie Taggart in South Florida.
A 20-second drive. Trying to make sure field goal can't tie.
Those are good, by the way, John. 20-second drive.
That was a point of conversation during our chats in the week, if time of possession would matter. Willie Taggart said, score more points than Navy, I don't care how long it takes. 27-yard punt, 24-yard return, the play action of Barr, and then Marlon Mack pays it off. South Florida plunges back ahead. Happy Halloween, another quick strike for South Florida. 20th drive of the year under 2 minutes, the 6th under a minute. It took 20 seconds. The special teams has aided South Florida significantly today.
That's why they changed their offense. They wanted to be more quick strike. They wanted to be more talent related. They're built to be fast and dangerous.
Here's the fastest midshipman, Dyshawn Romine. Friendly fire running into his own man. Watch out, little mid. Young lady shooting for you. Many in other regalia today on this Halloween. 17-13 as Navy starts a drive at its 25. Off a play fake, Reynolds loading, and he's hammered. Jamie Bird, the angry bird. Nice into the backfield.
I love the way this kid plays, and nice call defensively of just attacking. We talked about the style that this defense wants to play with. They want to play mean, they want to play angry, and they want to play aggressive. This is a nice aggressive call. Not surprising anybody. Remember the land shark at Ole Miss? Welcome to the bull shark at USF.
That's brought to you by Tom Allen, the first-year DC. He was the linebacker coach at Ole Miss for 3 years. Tayshawn Whitehurst, the tackle on Swain. Allen rose to the ranks of the high school fields in Florida and his native Indiana. His first college job was at Division III Wabash. He was at NAIA Lambeth. He was at FCS Drake, Arkansas State, Ole Miss, and now his first crack as a DC with the big boys.
And yelling and aggressive the whole way. He loves to get loud with his guys.
Got a penalty last week for celebrating an INT. 3rd and 13. Navy might be celebrating. Dyshawn Romine integrated more and more, but he seems stung by that contact as he has a first down.
If you get out of position either by mistake physically or if you're blocked, Navy's going to find you. And the block happens on the outside. You saw the early block, the late block there. It's beautiful to watch. There's the early block. They stumble you. You got the corner. And then down the field, a great job by Chad Llewellyn on the outside blocking, keeping that DB off.
Now, Romine, who left the field briefly earlier, that's what led in part to Calvin Cass being on when he had the ball stripped and fumbled away. Romine does not appear to be 100% here.
Being guided to a safe place to sit.
Depth at slot back getting tested. Reynolds decides to take it himself over midfield. Dietrich Nichols, the tackle.
Well, this was some serious contact, and that's helmet to helmet that affects both sides. Now that's a hit. Frankly, you're just not going to get out of football. That's happening from the side. That's a collision of two players running at full speed. Nothing malicious about it, just that's how it's meant to be.
Joshua Walker has subbed into the slot back. Reynolds, he can make plays, huh? And he gets a roar out of this crowd with a first down. Khalid McGee undercut it.
Well, it's a nice job of Keenan Reynolds there ad-libbing. You know, they're starting to take away the fullback, and that's very, very important. See both ends of that hit, Romine and Bird being examined. It stunned both of them.
4 minutes plus and counting.
Taking plays down inside of 10 every time now.
Swain swarmed by bright gold beaming helmets. Armed Forces Football proudly sponsored by Northrop Grumman. Second down here.
Not complicated here. You do not want to let the fullback run.
And they give it right to the big boy.
Yep, that's I mean, Navy does not have a lack of memory. They always remember what it is they want to do. In their soul, they want to kill you in the gut. They want to kill you with the fullback. And just because you stop it 3 or 4 times doesn't mean they're going to stop doing it.
Today's red zone numbers brought to you by Verizon. And last tackle, by the way, made by Jamie Bird. He's back on the field for the Bulls.
Another red zone penetration, possibly another chance to see a Keenan Reynolds rushing touchdown.
Reynolds gets a few yards, humbled by Dietrich Nichols. Chris Swain, by the way, has crossed the century mark during the course of this drive. 103 yards now on the game. The 4th 100-yard day of his career, his 3rd of the season. And there's a shot of Bird. Cleared and back in. We've not seen the same for Roman. Play clock fades. Ezel popped hard.
Nice job up front. That's guessing right. That's thinking they loved it so much they're going to go back to the well and try to beat us with the fullback again. And that's being right in the hole, ready to greet him. Tell you what, there's nothing wrong with Mr. Bird. He's ready to get back in there and keep hitting people.
Take him out right at the tree trunks. 3rd down. Navy 50% today, but this is 3rd and 6. Swain is returned as the fullback. Tillman and Wilson, the receivers, talk to the line.
The play's been Keenan Reynolds.
Oh, disrupted hard. 4 bodies on the back of Swain right at the mesh.
Penetration from the backside actually got the legs of Keenan Reynolds. They cut the handoff out at the source. Look at the penetration inside. That gets Reynolds. That disrupts things. Man, that's a beautiful job inside defensively. Is that James Hamilton, a defensive tackle? That was nice.
6'2", 308, the senior out of Orlando. Greavy from 28. He's hit from 26 and 30. Greavy. He's money. But Navy's still trailing. Another field goal make for Greavy. 17-16. The streaking South Florida Bulls at the edge.
Welcome back to Navy Marine Corps Memorial Stadium, where the score is USF 17, Navy 16. Daishan Roman, when he's been on the field, he's made an impact. He's left twice due to injury. It's the same injury both times, a left shoulder bruise. They've iced him up. I've been told he's probable. However, he's telling his teammates he's good to go, and he does have his helmet.
Well, thank you, Sheehan. He has 101 yards today. That's a career best. He had barely above 100 all season. His career high, that came in the VMI game last year with 51 yards. He's been a game changer, Randy, and he's sidelined.
Yeah, and he's come at the best time to be a game changer, too, when you're going to have problems with Sanders out, not even in shoulder pads.
Austin Greavy after his 3rd field goal make. Ernest Johnson, some hard harm, chops him down at around the 27. 3 trips to the red zone, Randy, 3 field goals. South Florida's defense so good at bending but not breaking.
Yeah, that's a killer. A lot of time off the clock and only field goals gets frustrating. Now it's incumbent upon South Florida and their quarterback Flowers. Let's see if they can be perfect. Can they get a drive together here where they don't stop themselves with a big penalty?
Marlon Mack was auspiciously absent for a while last possession. Just the fake. Mike Kelly, Amos Mason dispatching the QB and Flowers.
And remember, though, Mack missed last week's game with a bad hamstring, and that doesn't go away in 1 week. So they've been very judicious in their use. You've seen several of them, Tice specifically quite a bit, used at halfback.
It is a crisper, cooler day as well. The autumnal environs have arrived. Flowers loading, separation, Rodney Adams. He has had multiple big plays today, and on this occasion he breaks free of Navy's best cover man, Brendan Clements.
That's a heck of a play. Quentin Flowers gets a big play down the sideline off a play action fake, and you use the word autumnal. All happening within 1 5-second span. Pretty strong stuff, John.
We'll try to break him out for you. We'll go nickel dime. Mack, more of a nickel man, wearing number 5, submarined by Will Anthony, just inside of the 25-yard line.
And we've seen this execution, this efficiency. Now, USF is moving towards the red zone area. If they get in the red zone, will they penetrate and get a touchdown and not a field goal? You get a field goal here, John. It's the kind of points that put a lot of pressure on an option offense to play catch-up.
Time fading on the 3rd. They decide to run. Mack doesn't have much. Dale Pearson told us that he thought South Florida reminded him a bit of Air Force. How you have to make sure you key in on your assignment every play because they'll hit you over the top and separate for a big one.
And they've shown that ability to get up over the top. Coach Pearson is absolutely perfectly correct. And they have a lot of skill at the outside at receiver. We've already seen that plenty.
Keenan Reynolds delivering a message. The fourth quarter is on the other side. We've got a 1-point game, but Quentin Flowers has the ball, and the dynamic dual threat QB is knocking on the red zone. A great shot from downstairs, a 1-point game through 3. Welcome back to Annapolis. John Sadak, Randy Cross, Sheehan Stanwyck Birch, and our crew. These were 2 of the top 3 rushing attacks in the league, Randy. What gives?
Yeah, well, look at this. Keenan Reynolds, no touchdowns rushing. And how about Quentin Flowers? 201 yards running last week. He's got 2 this week, but 204 passing to make up for it.
He's brought stability to the quarterback position for USF, a program that had 5 different starters in the last 2 years. Beat out the veteran Stephen Bench, Penn State transfer. Flowers, rear end zone, incomplete. Rodney Adams had it, but Brendan Clements was there, and Adams was on the white in the rear of the end zone.
Yeah, he was running along the backside, and that's exactly what Flowers saw as he escaped the huddle, or escaped the pocket, was that he could hit his man. The ball gets through to Adams. That's Canadian 6, but this isn't Canada. Our end zone's end.
God bless the USA. 32-yard field goal try. The 40-yarder never happened. Oh, this one's got some hook. And it's another miss. Nadelman has misfired twice, and it remains a 1-point game.
Navy made a mistake that should have cost them points, but a miss on the field goal means it doesn't. Sometimes if you're not perfect, you get help from the other guys.
For the sophomore place kicker, Emilio Nadelman, he entered the game 5 of 8. A long, though, of just 40 that came last game against SMU. And the happiest man of the house, Amos Mason, whose penalty thwarted what would have been a 40-yard field goal try and made for a fresh set of downs. Dyshawn Romine is back in the game. He's the motion man who gets the ball on the pitch. Romine using his speed. What bum shoulder? Tajay Fullwood helped him out of bounds.
Well, Navy got the field side, got the flip to the field side, and that's why Romine got all those yards.
Last time that Navy entered the 4th at home, came back to win against Pitt. That was a Nick Sloan field goal with zeros on the clock from 30. Sloan, of course, has since handed the kicking duties to Austin Grebe, although Sloan remains on the team. Using the big fullback Swain, they try to pop the ball free. Great job of high and tight ball protection. Rumbling to the 41, Tayshawn Whitehurst, the tackle.
And nice job by Swain of revisiting that pocket he was in the first half, of starting at the guard with the run and then hopping out over the tackle where the bubble is formed defensively.
Navy's got some momentum here in 2nd and 3. Reynolds. He is such a decision maker and a tough son of a gun.
That's a nice adjustment by South Florida. They slide their defensive line to take away the fullback. Keenan Reynolds sees it. He pulls it out of the fullback, and all of a sudden he's going to take it. It's a quarterback run from the jump. They anticipate that adjustment. Beautiful job by Keenan Reynolds.
15 yards for the first. He's closing in on Antoine Randall. He needs 2 yards to pass Randall for 6th on the all-time quarterback rushing list in yards. And he's content to feed the fullback. Deidre Catherine Sinat, the tackle, after only a couple. Today's first down line brought to you by Navy Federal Credit Union. Seven to go for the first.
Same alignment that Keenan Reynolds' offense just saw previously on that big run by him.
Reynolds has passed Antoine Randall. Augie Sanchez, the tackle. The 6th most rushing yards by a quarterback in the history of college football.
Well, when you're talking about something that I remember going to the College Football Hall of Fame when I was inducted and going down in the old one in South Bend, they'd had it by decades. 1860-something, 1870s. Ball was a little larger back then, too.
Slightly different game?
Just a little bit. Looked like rugby.
Rugby tackling certainly in vogue, thanks to Pete Carroll. Going from the NFL into the college ranks. 3rd and 2. Trying to follow Ezell. Ezell makes a big path, and Reynolds has the first. James Hamilton tripped him up.
Well, the term you hear most often with the option is pick your poison. Well, they're not going to let the fullback beat him. The outside's been there, and now they've clamped down on the outside. Keenan's reading that the pitch is being taken away by speed. He's just taking it himself. And watch this. Every time they get up and they go to run the play, they come back up. If you watch the play clock up here, when they come back, it's going to be under 10 by the time he sees the center again. Very aware of being efficient, using time, getting points, and killing this quarter.
Reynolds making something out of nothing. The play broke down, and he zips it free. Augie Sanchez takes him out at the 10.
Well, as that hesitation come in handy, we see it with the option all the time where the quick reverse pivot, then the play is delayed, and he just takes it up inside. He can see the holes opening. That's part of that decision-making process that he gets praised for so often.
So mom and dad spring to their feet. They're in scoring territory, but remember, the first 3 trips to the red zone, Navy had to settle for field goals. Keenan's got over 100 yards rushing today. Why not a few more?
One thing he doesn't have is a touchdown. This is the part of the field where you think Keenan Reynolds on a regular basis. Came into this game needing 2 to snuggle up next to Monty Ball at 77. Well, maybe not snuggle up's right. Probably not the right way to put that.
He is a very kind young man, but I'm not sure if he's that affectionate.
I'm not sure I've ever been around a player who legitimately at his own level on his team is a star that's less concerned with personal numbers and achievements.
Reynolds follows Swain. Reynolds refusing to yield. Reynolds
close.
And he'll be just short. The boos chorus down. Mom shaking her head. 3rd and half a foot. This crowd wants it. The Navy team wants it. Reynolds with Ezell behind him, needing half a yard. Reynolds keeps, and he's got a touchdown. Number 76.
And he'd be the first one to tell you, more importantly, it's got nothing to do with 76. It's we go ahead in the 4th quarter with 6:58 left in the ball game. It gives us the lead.
They have the lead. Do you go for 2 here? Reynolds needs 1 more touchdown to match Monte Ball. 2 to pass him. He broke the tie with Travis Prentice last week against Tulane.
I think you do go for 2 to get out by 9. Check that, 7.
This is the first 2-point conversion try of the year for Navy. Reynolds faking the pitch, lobs it, end zone, incomplete. Jameer Tillman in the back of the end zone, but Tajay Fullwood was there.
That was a pretty good reaction. I think an excellent play call. But that tip right there ruins the play for Navy. Great timing on that leap. Remember that no two-pointer right there.
A nearly 6-minute drive. Navy has forged back ahead thanks to number 76 for Keenan Reynolds. Let's take a look at Keenan Reynolds' all-time scores. He came off the bench to get a biggie in Best Air Force. Number 25 against Hawaii. Number 50 came on homecoming against San Jose State. A career-high 251 yards that day. Broke Ricky Dobbs' school record. Got the 75th just last week, and moments ago, number 76 to give his team the lead in the fourth. Keenan Reynolds now one shy of tying Monte Ball for the most rushing touchdowns ever.
And a gigantic possession here for the South Florida offense. They have got to get points here. If they don't get points here, there's a chance that Keenan Reynolds and company can take the ball and go away. You've got to stay on the field. You got to get points.
Ronnie Adams is back. He took the opening kick 97 yards for a touchdown. This is his first return since. Adams worked it this way last time around. He banged it left and cut it back right. And he still gets a decent chunky yardage. Ball pop free. Navy says it has it. It does. A huge turnover on special teams. It's Navy ball at the 42-yard line. Meyer Craw named to the Good Works team just this week. Helped knock it free.
Yeah, that was a very nice job of knocking it free. They're going to have to take a look at it. Obviously, change of possession like this to see exactly when that ball came out. But you see there, as he's going to the ground, that ball is out. Clearly before he comes down, gets crunched in the pile, Adams does. But that ball is nothing but the whole term high and tight. That is not high and tight. That's low and loose, and that's why it comes out when it's punched.
Austin Greavy was in there as well. Adams clearly rattled. Meyer Craw called one of the most beloved members of the Navy football team. Kenny Amantalolo said this week everyone loves Meyer, who was named to the Good Works team for all the work that he does off the field. And a charitable gift to Navy. With the lead and a shorter field, they can milk the clock.
Boy, could you ask for a higher highs, lower lows day for Adams on the offensive side? Rodney Adams, opening kickoff return for a touchdown. Keenan Reynolds comes down. That's not healthy. Landed on his head. But Adams started the game with a kickoff return for a touchdown and now fumbles the ball. And Keenan Reynolds, look at that right arm, kind of hanging.
So Tongo Smith, he converted slot back up QB.
Watch two things. Watch the exchange with the center and any exchange on a handoff for a cold quarterback.
Last week he came off the bench and went to the air 24 yards for a touchdown against Tulane. Smith. Oh, big hit. Nate Godwin, the rover, strong safety, a violent collision.
That'll warm you up and get you back into the game of pace. You're not in the game. Get hit like that a couple of times, that'll get your undivided attention.
Goodness gracious.
That's a molar rattler.
Tongo Smith played a huge part of the Texas State game last year, but he accounted for over 200 yards of offense. Reynolds getting examined. Navy 8 of 15 on third down. Same play. Yet again, some hard ball free. South Florida says it has it.
Ball's being marked down. See the official pointing down at the ground aggressively like that? That means down. Ball is down by contact.
So the ruling that the runner, Tongo Smith, was down before the ball came free.
Yeah, when you see officials and a ball's fumbled on the ground, pay attention to that.
Unsportsmanlike conduct penalty given as well.
He's down there, definitely. The ball comes out, and here comes the official. He's going to be pointing at the ground. Good call. And
after the play, unsportsmanlike conduct. Number 24 of the defense. 15-yard penalty, first down.
Johnny Ward, the quarterback.
That may prove, John, to be almost as important as the fumble as far as a bad thing happening to South Florida. Lacking the discipline at that time, getting the penalty, that could mean points. Here they are discussing right there what's going on, and a few choice words exchanged.
Senior Tayshawn Whitehurst immediately slapped him on the helmet, berating the junior quarterback for the huge mental error. Navy's now got the ball in the red zone, and while South Florida continues to bring unyielding physicality, positive yardage for Swain, who appears to be healthy.
Well, another penetration into the red zone here by the Navy offense. The last penetration into the red zone, Willie Taggart saw Ken Niumatalolo's football team take it in for a touchdown the first time today. Back in there, you got to think if they get the ball inside the 10, inside the 5 again, we might see Keenan Reynolds back in at quarterback.
For now, it remains Tongo Smith. This was a short drive that started at the South Florida 42. Swain hurdling the initial line, overwhelmed by Tayshawn Whitehurst and a host of others. It looks like we might have a timeout here from South Florida. The Bulls beckon their defense off the field as Reynolds gets worked on the sidelines, including the QB Keenan Reynolds. 3rd and 2. Reynolds remains to the right of Niumatalolo. Swain, another fierce collision. This time Devin Abraham, but they get the first down, and that's huge for a fresh set of downs by Keenan Reynolds' return. Keenan Reynolds hand signaling. And here he comes.
You had to know that was coming. First down here at the 8-yard line. Again, we've told you numerous times, but he's sitting at 76, looking for number 77 to tie Monty Ball.
Reynolds content to tick some more clock. Tayshawn Whitehurst, the soft tackle. 2 timeouts for the Bulls, 3:17 and fading.
And that's the most important part of that turnover too right now, is the fact that Navy's not in a hurry. They've got this lead. There's no reason to even look into the huddle as far as play go. There's no pretense of getting to the line of scrimmage. The play clock gets to 10, maybe we'll go to the ball, and then we'll snap the ball, but not before it gets to about 3 seconds.
Second and goal. Reynolds just hopping, dancing around, more than content to milk the clock. Zach Bullock the tackle. It looks like we might have another timeout here. This time for Navy. South Florida. Pass or run here?
Oh, it's definitely run here. Which probably means play action pass, actually.
Let's see the play call. 3rd and goal from the 8. 9 of 16 on 3rd down today. To the big guy. And he's just short. Chris Swain. So what do you do here?
Well, the prudent thing says you kick a field goal and go up by 8. The finishing blow says you go ahead and go for it here on 4th down and score a touchdown.
Entering this day, Navy 5th in the country on 4th down, 11 of 13 for 85%. And Navy has decided to go for it after a timeout. 4th down and goal from the 1. Reynolds a rushing touchdown today. He is 1 shy of tying Monte Ball for the most in the history of college football. Reynolds. End zone. He was in the pile. Touchdown. shoulder to shoulder with Monte Ball as the all-time college football rushing touchdown kings.
First guy he celebrates with appropriately is E.K. Benz, his big left guard. He went right over that left side for that touchdown.
A gutsy call to go for it on 4th down. A field goal would have made it an 8-point game, but Navy went for the jugular and the record books.
Yeah, for me to go for the kill shot, go for the one you know puts your opponent out. That is the smart way to look at it. It is a scoring play, so replay will look at it. Keenan Reynolds goes. That whole pile goes in.
The entire offensive line
with Keenan Reynolds. Got him in the middle.
Dad Donnie, Mom Jackie. Point after from Greavy. 29-17. Keenan Reynolds, one precious yard to align himself with history and essentially ice the contest.
Think about that. 77 touchdowns at the Naval Academy. Heck, having somebody that can score 77 touchdowns is nothing less than utterly remarkable when you really think about it in this modern age of college football.
They just made the announcement on the loudspeaker that Reynolds has saddled on up alongside Monte Ball in the history book in the celebration from Mom and Dad.
They could have just checked with Mom and saved us a whole lot of time. Mom called it from the jump.
Kenny Montalolo has such adoration for Keenan Reynolds. He told us after Ricky Dobbs, we didn't know what would be next. We didn't know if we could find somebody like that again. And Keenan Reynolds entered the picture.
You better kick this kick out of the end zone.
Greavy slams it. Renewed vigor, charged by the moment. The Bulls, Dearness Johnson will have a hard time moving. Ryan Harris leads the way for the 20, crashing down on the return man. To the air and out of bounds. Elkanah Dillon. Quentin Flowers.
Yeah, I'm serious about this USF program. I think in short order, they're going to be the next American Conference team to get people's attention nationally. You can tell here by the amount of mistakes they've made at the wrong time. They're not ready yet, but they're not far off.
Tip ball incomplete. I'll tell you, Flowers is a tough young man. Rasheed Bronson, the intended target. Flowers has stood in and taken many big hits today.
Well, he's throwing it well in the pocket, taking those hits. He's throwing it well out to his left, out to his right. And almost all of them, he's been very, very accurate.
3rd down. 3rd and 11. Flowers looking to launch. Incomplete. Multiple targets. Rasheed Bronson, the ultimate would-be recipient. Will Anthony pressuring in the backfield.
Looked like multiple targets in both jerseys. Looked 3 or 4 guys had a chance at that ball.
South Florida began the game 3 for 3 on 3rd down, converting many long 3rd downs. Since then, 0 for 8.
4th down here. Look for a long scramble when this protection breaks down.
Flowers short, helped out of bounds. Kevin McCoy. And the Brigade, a chance to celebrate, up 29-17 with 1:17 to go.
Well, you're not going to have a very hard time to convince Ken Niumatalolo and these Navy midshipmen that winning games in this American Conference is a little on the hard side. It comes down to the end. It's not easy business. And both of these last 2 wins by Navy, they've earned them, and they've had to go right to the end to get them.
This is a game that will help Temple's pursuits in the East. Another knee can be dropped on a day that Navy has made history on multiple fronts. The biggest story, Keenan Reynolds ties the all-time college football rushing touchdown record.
Talk about some proud parents there.
His mom, Jackie, said that Keenan's accomplishments inspire so many still in his native state of Tennessee and the greater Nashville area. You can be undersized, you can be under-recruited. All you need is a chance, hard work, and your God-given ability.
Well, you talk about flowers, too, on the other side for USF. How many kids are told they can't be quarterbacks? They can't play at this level at that position, and prove them all wrong.
Navy Bowl eligible for the 12th time in 13 years. Making 7 and 8 seasons under Ken Niumatalolo. 6-1 and 4-0 in the American. And one of the leaders of this Naval Academy team, Keenan Reynolds. A historic day, tying Monte Ball the most rushing touchdowns in the annals of this great sport. Let's go down to the field. She and Stanwick Birch with Keenan Reynolds.
A very happy day. I mean, the talk, it's still going to be talking about it, but you tie the record with Monte Ball. Amazing accomplishment. How does it feel?
It's great. You know, got to give honor to God first and foremost. Blessed me with the ability to come out here and play. And then secondly, my teammates. I mean, those guys are the reason I'm able to do what I do. You know, the love for each other that we have, you know, keeps us tight, keeps us going through games like this to keep pressing and keep playing.
You've had a lot of pressure on you, a lot of talk, a lot of hype. What's next for you?
Just try to keep winning. I mean, we're in the middle of a tough stretch. We got a very, very good Memphis team coming up next week. So, you know, my focus is on Memphis right now.
Enjoy the victory.
Thank you.
And you can be sure the Tennessee native, when he journeys to Memphis, will be deluged by ticket requests. That'll be a big stage for him personally to want to play on. So many Tennessee native players, but we'll look at this ceremonial shot. Reynolds alongside his offensive line.
Yeah, I can tell you, as an offensive lineman that's played with some pretty outstanding skill players, that's a relationship that'll last the rest of your life.
29-17 the final. Navy takes care of USF. We have more to come, including Carter Blackburn examining the Colorado State contest that's still to come right here on CBS Sports Network. Happy Halloween.